What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of The Block is Hot. Today is Saturday, which means we're going over this week's CNFT market updates. And you guys know the deal by now. This is not financial advice. This is simply me going over some of the news that's happening in the space, as well as giving my opinions on the direction I think some projects can go. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, guys, how is the overall CNFT market looking like when it comes to the volume? And we're actually looking slightly better when compared to last week, guys. Last week, we had a few days actually go under 1 million ADA, and now in this week, we've really been averaging around that 1.3 to 1.5 million ADA, which is a lot better of a sign. Another thing that I want to bring up here is that a lot of these NFTs have actually been holding their ADA value amount, which is something that I'm very bullish on. I was a little bit worried that because the market was going down a lot, that people would want to get out of their NFTs, get that ADA, and sell their ADA, and just have their money in like a stable coin or take their money out of crypto. But what's been nice is that a lot of these projects have actually been holding their ADA value, or if you're lucky or getting into the right projects, they've actually been going up in value, which is a really awesome way to counteract that lower price of ADA. And kind of my strategy right now is the same thing that I mentioned last week. I have most of my money like trying to go on the sidelines. I'm just holding a lot of the NFTs that I already have, and I'm trying to reposition some of my money into some of those bigger blue chip CNFTs rather than some of these smaller ones, just in case that the market does get worse and some of these smaller projects don't last. And another point that I want to bring up here, guys, is that I am seeing people all over the place do all these different analysis and technical trading and all this stuff. Guys, no one knows what's going on. We are in such a unique market situation right now that if you're trying to time the short term, you are going to get burned, and I can almost guarantee it. This market is manipulated. There are factors that are going on that have never happened before. There's a lot of stuff catching up from, what happened about 2 years ago, all of this stimulus, the war, just a bunch of stuff right now. All we can do is we can have money on the sides to be able to dollar cost average into this stuff and have a long-term vision. We have no idea what's going to happen this year, guys, or this month or 2 months, 3 months. But we do know that with everything that crypto has to offer and the way the world is moving, that crypto is here to stay. It's not going to completely die, and it's actually going to flourish, in my opinion, over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And it's tough having that mindset now because, when ADA went from $1 to 50 cents, you could be down 50% of your money. But I'm telling you guys, like, these numbers that we're stressing so much about are going to be very insignificant in the future as this entire ecosystem continues to develop. As far as the top winners or the top movers in the CNFT space when it comes to volume this week, we have number 1, Aquafarmers. Number 2 is Chilled Kongs. We then have Introverts coming in at number 3, Pavs at 4, Swag Ape Club at 5, and then we have Onboard Furbles, Boss Cat Rocket Club, Spacebudz at 8, Dead Rabbit Resurrection Society at 9, which I can never get that name right, guys. It always trips me up. And number 10 is our boys, the Mandrillz. The first project on our list today, guys, are Aquafarmers by Liquid Finance. Now, this is a project that just released this week for only 46 ADA, and it has been going absolutely stupid on the secondary market. If you don't know, Liquid Finance is going to be a decentralized finance application built on the Cardano network. It's going to be very similar to Meld Protocol if you've watched my Meld Protocol video, or Aave if you're, know a lot about Ethereum. But essentially, guys, if you own one of these new NFTs that they created, you are going to get anywhere from 2 to 5% additional rewards on basically your staking in this protocol that it should be coming out this year. On top of that, you're going to be part of their DAO as well as governance for their project. So really huge stuff. The crazy thing is that depending on the rarity, you really do get a huge benefit when it comes to the staking. And the more money you have, the more ADA you have, or just literally the more capital you have, the better an investment this is for a long-term hold. And here's why, guys. Let's say you have $100,000 and you're staking on their platform, getting, let's say, 5%. Well, all of a sudden, if you spend about $140, you can get one of these base common NFTs that are going to give you 2% additional staking rewards. So if we times your $100,000 by 2%, you literally are going to make an additional $2,000 per year simply by paying $140 right now for their NFT before they launch their project. And yes, $100,000 is a lot, but let's say you divided this by 10 and you had $10,000, you're still getting $200, which is $60 more than what the current price of one of these NFTs are. And then on top of that, guys, you still have your NFT and you have participation in that DAO and you have those governance rights where you can do a bunch of voting on the protocol. So really cool stuff. I really like projects that have this built-in utility, and Liquid Finance is no joke. They literally have over 50,000 followers, guys, and their application that they're building, that they're creating, is going to be very big, and a lot of people are going to use it. So potentially scooping some of these up right now, even though they've gone on a ridiculous run, could be a very good long-term play, especially if you have a lot of money. And guess what? Let's say you don't have a lot of money. Well, there's probably people that are going to come around that have a lot of money and they're like, holy crap, dude, I can spend, even if at one point these cost $500, they're like, hey, I'm still going to be up 4 times my money just from the staking rewards of getting into some of these. So even though I'm not huge into getting into P1, and even though we could have a profit-taking pullback, I'm actually still very bullish on these, especially in the long term, especially since I'm bullish on Cardano and Liquid Finance. And I actually scooped up 2 of these. I got 2 rare ones, which give you 3% rather than 2% for around 530 to 540 ADA each. And then I just bought one of these commons for 280. Just realize, guys, though, that this has been going crazy, and in the short term, we could have profit-taking pullbacks, and things could calm down because their application isn't out yet, and it's going to take a while for these rewards to actually basically accumulate for you once you're actually staking them. And just another thing that you do have to know about this project, guys, is that you can't stack. I thought potentially in the beginning maybe you could buy a bunch of these and you could stack the rewards. You can't. It goes off of what the highest percentage is. So overall, cool project, a little bit risky getting in as far as a short term just because it's been going crazy, but I am a big believer in the long term of this project, and I think that there's going to be some major whales that are going to want some of these percent increases. Next project here is Chilled Kongs. Chilled Kongs has been going absolutely stupid. It continues to surprise me, and it continues to go up a lot. There are 2 reasons Chilled Kongs has continued to go up. One, a lot of people are moving money from lower CNFT projects into blue chip projects, which I recommended people to do just because it's going to be a lot safer, especially if we continue to go down in the crypto market, because eventually that's going to catch up to CNFTs. The second reason is they just announced and launched their merch store on their website, and you need to own a Chilled Kong in order to buy their merch. So I'm sure a couple people were wanting to buy because of that. I personally think right now is a decent price to sell at, and I actually have one of my Chilled Kongs, I believe this guy, listed for about 3,300 ADA right now. I'm going to sell that one, and then my last Chilled Kong I'm going to hold leading up to that Trippy Kong drop. These could continue to go up a lot, guys. There's been this insane craze, and honestly, the floor has held up very strongly, but honestly, I'm happy with being able to get that really big dub, 1 month to 5x my money. I'm pretty happy with that, and it's important to take profits off the table sometimes. Next project here is Introverts. This was number 3 on our list today, and this project has actually been doing very well. I looked into it a little bit more, and I like the art style, and I like the different things they're doing. They're having a point system with this whole inner cosmos thing where you're going to be able to get these different airdrops and basically different benefits that they do over time. The artist is this chick from Brazil, and she's been making different videos and, talking about the project with subtitles and stuff. So super cool stuff. I think this is a project that could do well long term. I haven't bought any yet. I'm just kind of waiting to see where these go. If they go down to about 100 ADA, I'll definitely scoop some up, but they really haven't been chilling around that 100 ADA level. So we'll see if I wait too long here and kind of get bit. But like I was saying about, like last week too, I'm kind of waiting right now to see what a lot of these new projects do. If the hype stays or if the hype dies down, because you can look at some of the, projects that 2 weeks ago that were going crazy, like Aping Riot Club, and now those have really gone down a lot in price and have really chilled, and not a ton of people are paying attention to it. So I'm just being a little careful right now. Getting into some of these newer projects right after they release is definitely a riskier move right now. Next project on this list is one of those projects, which is Swag Ape Club. And this project was going for, at one point, like 130 or 148 a floor. Now, I think these Swag Apes look good, but I have the same opinion as Introverts right now, where I'm just waiting to see what happens. There have been so many ape projects that released, and just so many different projects in general, that I really want to see if these guys have what it takes to really stay around. And the only thing I really saw in their roadmap or utility was that they were doing this whole point system, not point system, but if you have at least 25 of these, you're going to be able to get royalty distributions and stuff like that. Not super bullish on the system that they're creating with that, but maybe something to pay attention to. I'm personally hands off for now and waiting to see what happens. Another thing that happened this week, guys, is that Pavs were airdropped to everyone that held Pavia plots. And what was really frustrating with this is that it wasn't based on land ID for your Pavia. It was based on unique wallets. So I should have sent all my Pavia plots to a ton of different wallets, but I didn't think they were going to go that route. There were 6,000 of these airdropped, and they're going for around 165 ADA right now. At one point when they first released, they were going for about 300 ADA. I personally don't think that buying and loading up on these Pavs is a very good idea. When I was looking at their website to see what these were actually going to do, it made it look like that you were just going to be able to capture these everywhere in their Pavia metaverse. And maybe they're rare. We don't know too much about them, but it looks like you can just get a lot more of them. So supply is going to increase in the future. And as far as utility, they didn't really give too much utility. They teased something about this mech compatibility thing that we don't really know too much about. But yeah, for me, I'm kind of hands off with this. And I think there's better buys out there. Next project on the list is Onboard Furbles. This was a project that released somewhat recently too, and the whole process, or the whole thing that these guys are trying to do, is they're trying to help onboard new artists to the CNFT space. So let's say you're an artist and you want to create cool art, but there's just so much stuff with CNFTs that you have no idea how to really market it, how to sell it, how to do interviews, who to talk to, all these different things. They're hoping that you can talk to them and they can basically help you launch. I think the project is pretty cool. I'm not super big into holding just art projects for the long term, and I'm very interested to see how they're going to be able to utilize helping those other projects in order to reward their holders. It doesn't really seem that they're focused on that. It seems like this is something that's really just focused on helping the art community and helping out other projects. So if you want to invest in something like that and be able to help other new artists basically get involved in the space, then this could be a project that helps do that. But as far as like a long-term investment, I'm personally hands off for now. Next project on our list is Spacebudz. Spacebudz is pretty much just chilling at this 5,000 ADA level, guys. I'm running out of stuff to talk about with Spacebudz. They're always in the top 10 list, and I'm always like trying to think of, what can I say about Spacebudz this time? Well, guys, they're in the top 10 list. We all know about Spacebudz. I think there's better buys out there, but it is a safe OG project. Next project on the list, though, is BossCat Rocket Club. People have been commenting, why have I not been giving as much love to BossCat recently? And you guys are right. I don't know why. I guess like the hype for whatever reason was just dying down with BossCat, and I think they got into this kind of pickle where they were constantly doing like Catalyst news stuff. Oh, we're going to do Boss Planet. Oh, we're going to do these airdrops. Oh, we're going to do all that. And then all of a sudden, all that kind of ran dry, and there isn't anything big coming soon. They are having their Boss Cat token that is going to release at the end of this year, I believe in December. That could be a Catalyst thing. But from now until then, I haven't really seen anything that they've announced that's going to bring a bunch of hype and a bunch of money flowing into this project. I still think they're doing big things though. I think they do a good job at marketing. And if this gets down to that 1,000 ADA level, like I've been looking for, then I'm going to buy some. But I actually think their Boss Planet Vox Cats, which were also in the list, are probably a better buy. I think these Vox Cats are most likely going to have a lot more utility in their actual Boss Planet. And I actually really do like the way they look. These got all the way down to about 230 ADA level, and now they're back at 250. This could be a very good buying opportunity as far as a long-term thing, or you could wait and see if it gets down to 200 ADA. Right now, I'm waiting to see if it gets down to 200 ADA, but maybe I'll scoop up some of these at 250 just so I don't miss the boat. Next project here was Dead Rabbit Resurrection Society. This project has proved that it is a new project that is here to stay and that's not going to go. And this is what I was talking about, guys, with waiting on these different projects to see if they last. If you look at Seal Society, people were going crazy about Seal Society. It went to 450 and I was like, hold up, guys, like this is a little crazy. And now they're all the way down to 130. The hype is dying. Same thing with Aping Riot Club. Same thing with the Swag Apes. Like literally, guys, most of these projects will have this initial pop off and then they'll just die down and the hype will die down and they'll kind of like float around a price until they do something and we have no idea if they're going to do something. Dead Rabbit Resurrection Society is one of those projects that's proven to me over the past 2-3 weeks that, hey, we weren't just this one-time pump thing and we're going to completely dip and nothing's going to happen. We actually are building something here. We're building this society and we're making things happen. So a big credit to them. I don't own any yet, but if these got down to like 350 or 400, maybe I'll scoop one up just for the long run because they have shown, like I said, guys, that they are here to stay. Next project on the list that I wanted to talk about here that was number 10 as far as overall volume was the Mandrillz. Mandrillz have been going crazy. They're all the way up to 250 ADA, and this is why I was telling everyone literally weeks and weeks and weeks that, hey, I'm buying Mandrillz. Hey, I'm buying Mandrillz. Hey, I'm buying Mandrillz. Hey, I'm holding on to Mandrillz. Like, I think Mandrillz is going to do well, and that's exactly what's been happening. People are picking up on this. People are seeing Ape Society at 2100 ADA, and they're seeing Chilled Kongs at 3000 ADA, and they're looking for that third best option. The Mandrillz is that third best option, in my opinion, and it is the third biggest ape project. Yes, we have some Ape Nation and a couple other ape projects like Claypez, now I'm saying it right, guys, that have a lot of potential, but Mandrillz has been around for a little bit longer than some of these, and I just have a little bit more confidence in it. They also announced that within the next 5 to 7 days, they're going to have roles, like additional roles, and they're also going to be outlining some of the different benefits of owning Mandrillz. I don't know what they're going to say that's not already on their roadmap, so that's interesting. And they also are going to talk about companions. I don't know if that's some sort of pet thing that they're doing, some sort of drop with that. I have no idea, guys, but I'm still holding all of my Mandrillz. I don't want to make the same mistake that I made with Chilled Kong and got out too early or not go hard enough. I only bought 5 Chilled Kongs around 600-700 ADA. I don't know why I did that. So that's why I went a lot harder on Mandrillz, and I'm just, going for the ride with this. Next project here, Clumsy Ghost. Clumsy Ghosts have been going stupid, guys. I remember I started noticing this project like a week and a half ago, and it was in the 200s. It was like 250, 280, and now they're literally at 655. I have dissected this project a lot more, guys, and this has a ton of potential. It literally reminds me of Dead Pixels before Dead Pixels blew up. They are essentially creating a game where it's like play to build and play to earn. And basically, guys, there's going to be like plots of land that you can put your Clumsy Ghost on. And those plots of land are going to give you materials and resources. And then with those materials and resources, you can either trade them on the marketplace or you can build different merch and different items and different gear. And eventually you're going to be able to battle different things. Very cool stuff. I actually think these look nice. I like how they're animated. They have a bunch of built-in functions. The team is very educated. They know what they're doing, and it really kills me that I didn't buy in at that 300 ADA level. I don't like chasing stuff, especially stuff that's went on a big run, because you got to expect a profit-taking pullback, but I really can see, guys, these being one of those projects that turn into a Dead Pixel situation, where these just end up going absolutely stupid and end up being a major blue chip because of all the different utility and things that they're executing on in the space. The team is very experienced. They have a really great background, and I really think I need to bite the bullet here soon and get in. I'm hoping that these can have a profit-taking pullback all the way down to that 500 ADA level, but I don't know, guys. Like, I think this is a project that could really run, and it's really, really, really showing a lot of promise, and the community is getting very developed. So definitely keep an eye on this project if you haven't already. Next thing here is the Cornucopia's NFT2 trees. These just released recently for only 15 ADA, and it was actually a public drop for most of them, unless you had the OG roll. I was able to get 4 of these, 3 commons and 1 legendary, so I guess that was a pretty great pull, especially since these were only 15 ADA each. Now, my personal opinion on these trees is that they aren't going to be worth more than the Javelins or the Jets. It wouldn't make sense for that to happen, and I actually am going to be selling some of these trees. Now, I know these are about half the price of the Cornucopia's Jets and Javelins, but I think this whole entire drop was mostly for the cause. It was mostly like, hey guys, we want to, test out our system so that when we do the land, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we can make sure the system works, while at the same time we want to plant trees and help out the world and stuff like that. And yes, they said there were going to be different benefits, such as a custom role, such as being able to get these trees in your metaverse, basically floating village that you're going to be able to create. And they said there's going to be some airdrops in the future, but I'm a lot more bullish on the actual jets and javelins. And I think, getting a good, 10, 15x here is pretty solid. However, I do have to say here, guys, that Cornucopia literally has the hardest core fans, literally right next to Clay Nation, in my opinion, and that these could continue to be bought up. However, like I said, I think that there are better buys out there in the Cornucopia's ecosystem, such as those javelins and such as those jets, especially since we know those are going to be whitelist for the land, and I don't believe these trees are. Next thing here, Ape Society. The reason I wanted to bring up Ape Society is that they have been doing this 10 epoch thing where if you weren't selling or listing your Ape Society, you were able to claim these society tokens on drip drops every single epoch for 10 epochs. And if you held for all 10 epochs, which a lot of people did, you are basically getting an additional bonus on top of that. And I was expecting that after they did that whole claim that these would actually go down because maybe people were selling after that major claim, but they haven't, guys. And I think the reason is because if you were holding for 10 epochs already, which is 50 days, you're most likely someone that's just going to hold for the long term. I personally had bought another one of these Ape Societies at around 1800 ADA, so I'm back into the project, and I think that anything around that 2000 ADA level really is a good buy, and anytime it's under 2000 ADA, I do think it's a steal for the long term. Another thing that I want to bring up with this project too is that sometime this week they're actually going to announce their whole entire frames. So they're going to show you the different frames that you can buy, how much the different frames are as far as society tokens, and they're also trying to get their society token on different decentralized exchanges on Cardano already. So they're trying to do it on MinSwap, maybe even Sunday Swap potentially, but I do know MinSwap is on that list. So potentially you can farm with your society tokens and potentially make some additional income from that. Next project that I want to bring up here, guys, and sorry that I'm not as clear today. My mind isn't as clear today. I've honestly been up since 4 a.m. this morning. I couldn't sleep, and I've been doing a bunch of stuff, so my mind is like, instead of like, it's kind of like, but regardless, we're on ADA Invadaz now. ADA Invadaz just released their white paper, guys, yesterday, and it actually looks really good. Like I said, I'm a big believer in this project. I think they're going to do very well long term, and I've just been holding all of mine. I still have 12 of these guys. Now, on their new white paper, they basically detailed their Senate nodes that you're going to be able to purchase, as well as their Season 2, basically alien spacecraft. To kind of summarize here, those Senate nodes are going to give you governance rights, you're going to be able to do different voting, and they're going to act as a whitelist for pretty much every single project they do, and there's also going to be ways to basically get ADA distributed to you. The second thing that they were really talking about were their spacecrafts. Now, what they're doing is that they're not just making a vehicle, but they're making a vehicle that you can upgrade. So you can upgrade the amount of people in them to eventually like 10 people or 5 people or 3 people. You can upgrade, different aspects of them, and that is going to give you different real practical utility when it comes to capturing these ADA Invadaz Season 2 and all these other things that they're planning on doing that they haven't given the full details yet. But yeah, I'm just holding these. I love them. I think they're a great long-term buy, and I liked what they had in their white paper. It looked very good, and I highly recommend everyone checking out that white paper just to learn a little bit more. Speaking of white papers, Mechanisms Overexposed released their black paper, and to be honest, guys, there wasn't really much on it compared to something like ADA Invadaz. They said they were going to do some auctions of Ren's work, but it wasn't like a whitelisted thing or anything like that. They're doing some private auctions with that. They said that these could be whitelist for their next drop, which is going to be like an instrument music drop. They said they were going to be at CNFT Con and do different community stuff, maybe play some games, but nothing too crazy, guys. One thing that I do want to bring up with their Season 2 drop, though, is that it actually sounds pretty cool. They're going to have a bunch of different music built into their NFTs, and on their website, you're going to be able to make like different songs and stuff by pairing sharing stuff together. So that sounds like a pretty cool concept. But as far as like adding a ton of utility to this project, they really didn't outline this. This is really, guys, just an art project at the end of the day, and they're trying to do like some community aspects. But we do know that when they launch their season 2, because season 1 was so profitable, that, you know, these are probably going to go up in price just as a whitelist. So something to keep your eyes on. I'm just holding the one I have. If these go down to like 350 or 300 for whatever reason, maybe I'll buy a couple more. But I think a lot of people were disappointed at the lack of utility that they were adding in their black paper. But at the end of the day, guys, like, this is an art project, you know, and they've said they were an art project. So I really wasn't expecting, you know, for them to say too much stuff in there. Next thing I want to bring up here is Claypez. The only reason I wanted to bring up Claypez is because I was saying Claypez last time, and someone was like, do these look like Pez? And I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if that's how you spell Pez. I'm looking at this, and dude, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Please explain to me if these, they look like Pez. Like, everybody that was saying it's not Pez, I had like 30 people comment I was saying it wrong. Claypez, my bad, guys. But these low-key do look like Pez. You cannot tell me right now that this body shape is not the same exact body shape as this. This is almost a 1-for-1. If Pez came out and made this out of clay and changed Donkey Kong just a little bit, this would be the same exact project. Come at me if you don't believe that or not, but that is my personal opinion. This is the only reason I'm bringing this up. I'm not going to talk about how they've been holding their floor and that they have a lot of potential and they look cool or any of that stuff. They do look like Pez, and that's why I was saying Claypez. Come at me. Last project I want to bring up here, though, is Ape Ninjas. Now, I've been sleeping on Ape Ninjas for a while just because they had so much supply, and honestly, their season 2 didn't do too well. It was only going for 30 ADA for the longest time, and I believe they still are going for 30 ADA. But I gotta tell you what, guys, listen to that interview that I just had with the Ape Ninjas team, because they're actually planning on doing a lot of different stuff, and it's very planned out. They have been executing on a lot of things, and I like the different ideas they have. Their season 3 is about to drop, maybe even potentially tomorrow, and it's open to anyone for 60 ADA. And yes, 60 ADA is a lot when both of their projects are currently under 60 ADA, but their season 3 not only looks better, but it's going to have music and animations attached. And I think that if they're going to be able to execute on their game and their different utilities and their ninja token and all that stuff, that these potentially could be a good long-term play, especially since they're trying to do this whole entire Ape Ninja burn as well. So something to pay attention to. I don't own any right now, but I'm thinking of potentially going for their mint tomorrow and just picking up a couple, even if it's a slower sellout, just because I do think, it has a lot of potential in the future. As far as what I've done this week, guys, it really hasn't been too much. I bought one Ape Society around that 1800 ADA level. I listed one of my 2 chilled Kongs for 3300 ADA, so we'll see if that sells. I was able to go for that cornucopias tree drop. I got 4, 3 commons, 1 legendary. I'm probably gonna sell those, try to take some profit on those. Bought another Bake Nation pitch. I think those are going to do very well long term. When it comes to Pavia, I did list 2 plots of Pavia. I don't think they sold. I'm a little frustrated with Pavia right now. I don't like how the Pavs airdrop was not based on land ID and was based on unique wallets. I have no idea. I feel like they just took an easy approach there when they really could have made it more fair to like people that were holding multiple and really like supporting their project more. I ultimately just want to see more from Pavia. Like, the Pavs was nice. It was a nice airdrop. It was, the first thing they've done in a while ever since they, did their land sale 3. But, I really need to see that utility from them, especially when we have cornucopias dropping their land soon. We have Bake Nation pitches. We have Ape Society cabins. We know Chilled Kongs is probably cooking some stuff up. We just had Mikosi Planet. Like, there's all these different metaverses coming out that are promising to do all these big things. And I've already been taking different approaches and I've already been progressing on things. And I feel like Pavia, I've just been losing money like every month. It's just been going down and down and down. It's like, I keep believing in them, that they're the biggest metaverse and that they're going to really kill this and that they're doing Decentraland type stuff. And then it's like, I haven't really been seeing things things formulate. And then you even have new projects like Econicos that look super, super promising, that have been building up a tremendous amount of hype. And that's going to be another metaverse project that they've got to compete with. So I really need to see like a little bit more fight out of Pavia, or I'm just going to like kind of take that L and move it into other things, even though it's, I've been holding it for like freaking 6 months now. But yeah, that's pretty much everything going on. I haven't been doing too much at buying and selling. I've pretty much just been holding stuff, waiting to see where the market's going here, guys. I'm a big believer that this is going to be a lot higher in the future, but obviously right now there's just so much uncertainty that getting into a lot of different plays right now just doesn't make a lot of sense. It makes a lot more sense just kind of waiting and seeing what happens, and maybe moving your money into, good areas such as blue chips or whatever the case is, because we really don't know what's going to happen in the market. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the video. I hope that you guys have an awesome Saturday. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving a thumbs up on this video. Thank you for subscribing and doing all the things you guys do. It helps motivate me to pump out these videos, especially when the market is down so much. It's hard sometimes when like to basically be like super motivated to make videos when the market's down, because whenever the market's down, like less people watch your videos, you get less new subscribers, you're making less money. Like it's just hard to talk about sometimes. But then I'm like, yo, I got people that watch every video. Like I gotta push this out for them, and the savages in the block that have been here supporting thick and thin. So yeah, thank you guys, and have a great day.